What is up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. It is day 4 of 100 tips and tricks to help make you a better bass angler. Today we are talking about how to run and set up your favorite bait casting rod. Bait casters are a huge gamut of rods to do different things. I'm gonna talk about the 3 Baitcaster combos that I rely on the most to get the most out of my fishing. So, fun, quick video talking about running and setting up bait casting rods and reels. Let's dive into it. Here we go. As we talked about a couple videos ago, bait casting rods and reels give you a lot more control over certain lures, and they're gonna give you a lot more power in certain situations. So the first setup that I'm always gonna have rigged up is a heavier action bait casting rod and reel with braided line, and we're talking straight braided line, 30 to 50 pound test. Right here, this is my Topwater heavy action rod, right? So we've got a 7.5 medium heavy power rod here that is perfect for frogging. I'm gonna run 30 to 50 pound braid on this rod, and this is gonna take care of the majority of my flipping, pitching, and frogging applications. So heavy weights going through under docks or topwaters and slop. You're gonna go with a bait casting 7.5, 7.6 rod, heavy action, fast, and braided line to get that taken care of. Second on deck is your general use bait casting rod and reel here. All of my reels I've simplified. I fish either 7.4-1 quick or 6.3-1. If I want to just have a general rod for general use, that 6.3-1 really gets the job done. If I want it to be quick and fast action, I will bump up right to that 7 speed for that topwater, but 6.3-1 reels just for general purpose are gonna do a great job, right? So right here we have a 6.9 medium heavy, and this is great for throwing light swim baits, for throwing Texas rigs, for throwing small worms, just general fishing, right? Light jigs, different things. If I want to do a lot with my rod, you know, this is the rod that I'm going to throw. So if I have to have one rod in my hand all day, this is what I'm going to pick because I can do so many things with it, right? It's just a versatile rod. Bank anglers, a 6.9 medium heavy is going to do a lot of things for you. It's handling 3/8 all the way up to 1 ounce lures. Not really 1 ounce too much on this lighter rod, but it's gonna do, this is a workhorse, right? It is a workhorse rod and reel that you can do a lot of different things well with, and it's really a jack of all trades, master of none. It does a lot of things really, really well. So this is one of the most versatile rods that you can have right here. I'm running this with 10-pound fluorocarbon on it. I can go to mono if I'm gonna do a lot of different techniques with treble hooks on it, but most of the time I'm gonna run straight fluorocarbon on this rod and reel because I'm throwing it out over the brake lines, down the edges, maybe doing a bubba shot with a style rod, maybe a Texas rig, maybe a hover rig, but this is your general use, all-purpose kind of bait casting rod and reel that I'm going to use there. The next rod and reel that I'm gonna dive into is kind of your specialty rod and reels, and I have 2 of these. Right here, what we have is your 6.6 medium action, and 6.6 medium action is fantastic for anything with treble hooks on it. So treble hooked topwaters, jerk baits, right? Crankbaits, shallow square billing, anything where you need a little bit of give in your rod is going to be money on this. Now, I've been fishing this topwater and I've been skipping docks with this. I love skipping docks with this because of the whip action that it gives me, but the 6.6 medium power, if you are fishing treble hooked baits around cover, can't beat it. If you are fishing topwater baits across the different tops of stuff with, you know, those trebles on it, can't beat it. If you're fishing jerk baits, this is one of the best. It's more of a specialized rod and reel. Like if I'm buying one rod, this is not the rod that I'm buying for bank fishing, right? I'm buying that 6.9 to 7 foot medium heavy that does everything. This is a more specialized rod for treble hooked baits or baits that you need a lot of give. This one right now is set up with 12-pound mono on it because I've been running a lot of topwater baits and I've been flipping a lot of really light jigs up under docks, and I really like the stretch and forgiveness that this gives me in those situations. I am still a believer that monofilament has a place in fishing. We'll do a whole video on that later, but great specialized rod combination right there. So those are the 3 rods that I would recommend that anybody that's doing some fishing has, simply because they cover the spectrum of a lot of things. Now, we have specialized rods and reels, and let me kind of break down what those are so that you have a better understanding of that. Right here, we have a rod and reel combo that is designed for cranking, right? And this is a 7.3 medium, and this is one of the Abu Garcia Mike Iaconelli series. And literally it is built for cranking, and it bends, it has a parabolic bend all the way down in the rod tip. And this is especially important when you're throwing treble hooked baits or you're throwing deep diving crankbaits, that you need some give in your rod and reel. And this is a very specialized rod and reel for throwing those deep diving crankbaits, for really making sure that you get that bait down there. On this, I have a 7-to-1 gear ratio because I'm burning crankbaits along those deep grass edges. Tactical Bassin talks about speed cranking. If you throw a DT14 on this rod and you burn it along those edges in the wintertime, bass will absolutely come unglued. But this is a rod that is very specifically built for cranking. So don't feel like you need to get this rod to do everything, because what it's going to do, you're gonna have heartbreak after heartbreak with heavy action jigs or single hook rigs on there, because it's not built for that. This is a very specific rod built to do a very specific thing. As you get more evolved and your techniques get more evolved, your rods then become more evolved. So it's not a go everywhere, do everything rod. It's simply a rod and reel that are built to perform a specific task. On the other end of that, here we have a rod that is designed specifically for jerkbait fishing. I fish jerkbaits a lot. And being up in the North Country, jerkbaits are a staple to what I am doing. So I invested in a jerkbait rod that is premium. This is a 6.9 medium power 6-scale Hemidol with a 7-to-0-to-1 gear ratio 6-scale Hamar reel. And what we're looking for with this combo is the ultimate in jerkbait. Literally, this is designed to throw jerkbaits a mile and to react to everything. And once again, if you're gonna go specialized gear, you're going to pay more money for that gear. This is not a rod and reel combo that I would recommend to a beginner, because it's built to do one thing extremely well, and it fishes jerkbaits extremely well. But specialized gear is not something that you want to invest in until you want to go down that rabbit hole of, I'm going to throw big baits, I'm going to throw jerk baits, and I want the very best to do the very best. Your general all-purpose rods and reels are going to do more for you than specialized gear will when you just are starting out. So what you want to do, you want to find a action that matches the lure that you're throwing. You want to find a reel that matches the action that you want to present, and you want to find a rod length that is comfortable for you and allows you to fish it in the most convenient way. So setting up a bait caster is key. Now, the first thing that I do every time that I change a lure is I want to set up the resistance on that rod and reel, because different baits and lures have different resistance. And we talk about that using the resistance knobs wherever they're located on the side of your reel. So different reels, different resistance knobs, all kinds of stuff. So when I first tie on a bait, right, I'm gonna hold that bait out at chest level just like this. And I'm gonna reel that bait up till it's within an inch of the rod, and then I'm gonna simply let go. And that spool should stop when that bait hits the ground if it's dialed correctly. So let's see if this is spooled correctly. Nope, it overran, right? So I'm gonna pull some of that line off, get back to where that is tight on the reel, and then I'm gonna reel it in, right? I wanna make sure that this line is coming on tight. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin this resistance knob forward right here. And this is gonna save you from backlashes. Then I'm gonna let it go, and if it stops when it hits the ground, okay, now it's perfectly dialed in. Right? As you get better casting, you loosen up that resistance knob because you're gonna use more of your thumb. I run like 98% of my rods and reel combos wide open, but that's because I've been fishing with a baitcaster for 15, 20 years, right? And I know, my thumb knows how I want that rod and reel set up. So adjust your tension on your knob and make sure that you set your brakes where you're comfortable. More brake is less cast, less brake is farther cast. You kind of have to dial that in based on the lure and the weight of things that you're throwing. Guys, hope you got something from today's video. Quick, simple ways to set up your bait casters. 3 combos that really should help you with your bait casting game. Guys, if you like what's going on in the series right now, give us a like, subscribe. Let us know in the comment section what you want to see from the future. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 5.